I have rarely looked forward to a series as much as I am this series between England and India, because these are two astonishingly good teams. India at home, almost impregnable. I mean, look at that record. All of you have seen that record so many times. Haven't lost a series since 2012-13. Have lost only 3 of their last 46 tests. They're like a spider that casts its web and waits for someone to get trapped in. India is the most difficult place in the world for a visiting side to come and win. What about England? England playing test cricket breathtakingly well. When they came and struggled in India a few years ago, thereafter they won 2 tests out of 18. Then Bazball happened. I know Brendan McCullum doesn't like the use of the word Bazball, but the approach happened, and since then they won 13 out of the next 18. Will they come and play that way in India? You can see now why I feel this is a contest between two astonishingly powerful forces. I think it'll depend on 2 factors. The first of those is what is actually, honestly, deep down inside in the minds of the English tourists. Are they afraid of spin? Are they thinking the tracks are going to turn? How much are they going to turn? When are they going to turn? What are we going to do it? Is their mind going to be full of turn? On previous England tours, the moment a little puff of dust came up, everyone said, ooh, there's a puff of dust. Are England going to be thinking like that? And the second question, related to the first, is how the pitch is going to play. Are they going to be good Indian pitches where the ball turns, good to bat on for the first couple of days, sometimes get slower as they go along, sometimes crumble as they go along, or they're going to turn from day one? Now, if they turn from day one, let's take a look at what India are throwing at England. In the last few years, Ravichandran Ashwin has 83 wickets at 15. That's breathtaking. Ravindra Jadeja has 37 at 18 and Akshar Patel has 42 at 16. Those are not daunting numbers. Those are scary numbers. That is what England are up against. And it's been argued, and it's been argued logically and argued well, that if you prepare tracks like that, you equalize the spinners. Let's take a look at what England have to offer. Jack Leach is a good spinner. Left-arm spinners have done well against India. In fact, the record of India's right-handers against left-arm spin is not the greatest. Shreyas Iyer apart, you're not looking at averages too much beyond 30. So Jack Leach is a big performer. But what do they have in support? 39 first-class matches for 74 wickets between them. And before you jump at me, there's a fallacy there in that those have been achieved in different conditions. But look at the experience in itself. Just 39 matches. There will be pressure. Rohit Sharma will put them under pressure. KL Rahul will put them under pressure. And then how do they react? I don't think the spin support is great. If the tracks are going to turn very quickly, then I think India are far too strongly on the ascendant. And I say that in spite of the fact that in Indore, Australia beat India, that we didn't know too much about Kuhneman and Todd Murphy, and they bowled beautifully. So let's take a look at the two teams and the structures of the two teams and see what England are up against. The difference between the strike rates and the averages of India spinners at home versus overseas spinners at home is staggering. But if you thought that's the only way India take wickets, then the difference in numbers between what India's fast bowlers do in India and what the overseas fast bowlers do in India is huge. And that is why I still think Jasprit Bumrah is going to be a big factor. He's only played 4 home test matches, but he's averaging around 15 or 16. And those are wonderful numbers. And I suspect Bumrah will be just waiting to have a go at England. That is what they're up against. What about India's batting? I'd like to see how Jaiswal goes. But Rohit Sharma's record on bad tracks, and I'm not assuming the tracks are bad, I'm just highlighting how good a player Rohit Sharma is, are fantastic. His 161 and Ashwin's 100 in the second innings made the big difference in the series the last time these two teams played. There is no Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli will be a blow. He went through a couple of years struggling a little bit, like struggling a fair bit. Then when the 100 against Australia arrived, thereafter, he's averaging in the high 50s. And his experience, his intensity will definitely be missed. What it does though, is it creates an opening for Shreyas Iyer, who's one of our best players of spin. Remember what happened in Bangladesh. Two things to learn from what happened in that test match in Bangladesh. On a turning track, India struggled, but Ravichandran Ashwin and Shreyas Iyer eventually won India that test match. So it allows India to play both KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer, but Shubman Gill must do a little bit more. But then the great strength of India, that is why the balance is so good, which is Ashwin, Akshar and Jadeja, assuming all three play. If the powdery tracks, those three will play. If it's a good track, Kuldeep will play. Those three lend so much depth to the batting that a keeper can slip in somewhere. Say someone like KS Bharat, he's got 100 recently. He slips in at, let's say, number 7 between Jadeja and Ashwin. If there's left-arm spinner bowling, maybe even Jadeja at number 5 and Shreyas Iyer at number 6. Don't be surprised if you see that happening too. That lengthens the Indian tail so much. And then you've got Bumrah and Siraj, two bowlers who've cut their teeth, bowling long spells in first-class cricket in Indian conditions. So I think it's a very daunting side. What do England have in return? I often talk about balance, and a lot of you who watch these blogs know that I love talking about balance. England have no choice but to play 6 batters, because if they play Ben Foakes as a specialist keeper or Bairstow as a specialist keeper at 6 and look to play 5 bowlers, they have the same problem that India have when they go overseas, which is their bowlers don't bat and certainly don't in these conditions. So they have to play 6 batters and the wicket keeper. The fact that Harry Brook has gone away means Bairstow will bat at 6 maybe, or maybe they'll adjust 5 and 6 with him and Ben Stokes, and then Ben Foakes, and then there's 4 bowlers after that. 4 bowlers. 2 quicks, 2 spinners. If one of the spinners starts to go, there's a problem. Who is their all-rounder? No Ben Stokes this time. There's a lot of bowling due from Joe Root. I think everyone's talking about Stokes and Crawley's a good player and Bazball is all around. I think from England's point of view, this series revolves around Joe Root. Not just with bat, but with ball in hand as well. Root has a good series, England has a chance. Root has a bad series, England have no chance at all. Which leaves the question, how will India react if England come hard at them? How will India react to Bazball? If England win the toss and bat first in Hyderabad, you can be absolutely assured that they will come hard and want to go after the new ball. That's why I think what Ravichandran Ashwin thinks about Bazball, he already said that during the Naman Awards function, and what Jasprit Bumrah thinks about that, he's had something to say about it as well, will be a huge determining factor. I think India's bowlers will not mind England coming hard at them because, as Bumrah said, it keeps them in the game. They might pick up a lot of wickets, and in India, when the ball starts to stop and turn for the spinners, when it starts to reverse for the quicks, batting can get difficult. So I don't think India will mind Bazball, but I don't think England will give themselves a choice other than that. That is how they've decided they want to play. That is now the mindset of their batters. If it comes off, it will be a seminal moment in English cricket, and the world will look at England cricket very differently. They're already looking at them, but they will look at them very differently. If India end the march of Bazball, then people will start looking at it from a very different perspective and say, works only on flat decks. We wait and see. So far, their experience in Asia, if you look at what happened in Pakistan, is very good. But my gut feel is that if you want to play aggressive cricket, you must possess a very strong defense, as Kevin Peterson often tells us. I think the tracks will turn, and I think India start overwhelming favourites.